This is where gardening season begins, the seed catalog. These are some of my favorite seed suppliers. Johnny Selected Seeds, they're a Maine company. They have a really nice variety of just about anything you could imagine. Fedco is another fantastic Maine company. This is actually their tree catalog, but they have a separate catalog for seeds. Pine Tree Seeds is a company that is actually just down the road from me, so that's pretty cool. I've used a lot of their seeds. And Baker Creek and Seed Savers Exchange, these are two really great seed companies that specialize in old varieties, heirloom seeds. They travel the world in search of unique varieties. For me, it's important to know where my seeds are coming from. So I'm just using a starting mix, which is typically really dry. So what you want to do is you want to add water to it until it's nice and moist. You don't want it like sopping wet, but just so it will kind of stay together a bit when you squish it. Not, enough so that water's actually wringing out of it, but you just want it to kind of do that, like a nice little crumble. So you mix this up really well. So this is probably the most important, one of the most important things when you're doing planting, is to keep track of what it is actually that you're planting. So you want to make sure that you have your trusty popsicle sticks or whatever thing you want to use to mark your pots. Because my space is so limited, I want to make sure that something grows in each one of these little pots. So I'm probably going to put 3 or 4 seeds in each one just for insurance. So pretty straightforward. I mean, it's literally dirt in a pot. Just make sure that there's a little room at the top so that when you water it, the water doesn't just come flowing out over the top. You want to make sure that you don't plant things too deep, because then they're going to have a harder time. But some seeds you do need to plant deeper. So I'm just gonna cover that up and give it a little pat on the top just to make sure that the soil is in contact with the seeds, which is important. So that's it. I'm just gonna give them a good water, put them on the growing rack, and hope for some nice cucumbers this summer. So this is how my gardening season begins, right here in my living room. You really need to have something like this that will provide sufficient light for your seedlings, because if I tried to cram all of these in my window, they're just not going to get enough light to really be healthy. So over the course of this week coming up, I will start taking these little guys outside, getting them acclimated to the environment out there. So let's go take a look outside. It's finally starting to feel like spring. It's been a really long winter. I'm looking forward to having all of these little boxes filled with wonderful green things really soon. So here are some chives that I've had for a number of years. These come back every year, so those are up and running. I've got some lemon balm back here that I planted last year. That's coming back. I have to clean out this little corner and put some more herbs in there. So all along both sides of these poles, I've planted peas. I also have some radishes kind of tucked in here. It's a variety of radish called Easter egg, kind of planted down in here. Let's see. So the spinach and the peas, a couple varieties of peas here, and then radish, and then more peas. And you can just see the spinach starting to pop up, kind of like little blades of grass poking up. That's the spinach. So this is my bigger garden here in the backyard. I really like the raised bed boxes. They're really easy to work with. If there are any big roots from anything that I grew the last year, I'll just kind of take those out and get everything all nice and aerated, and then I'll compost it, rake it in, and then we'll start planting. I'm excited to have things growing back here again. I will start putting in my seeds for things like carrots, beets, my cabbages, my kales, my broccoli, and get those plants that are now inside ready to come outside. So spring is finally here, and all of my work and preparation in the past couple of months is about to be put to the test. I'm really excited to start growing food for my family. It's something that I enjoy doing, and something that's really important for me. You know, there are all sorts of unpredictable factors that could influence how your gardening season goes. So all I can do is hope for the best and just kind of, you know, keep an optimistic outlook, and hopefully we'll have a good growing season.